Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome, this is your first time. I wanted to come in with a quick message, but a very powerful one, is to really trust yourself over anything else and to stop hearing and listening to what other people say. It's to stop letting those ideas, perspectives of others or belief system kind of get to you unconsciously or consciously. When I was going to come and sit and talk about this, I was like, but not that this is not applicable for everybody. Why I'm saying this, because some people I've worked with and seen along the years is that they can hide behind the name of intuition, but actually it's their fear or their trauma or their wound that's actually speaking and actually protecting them from moving towards what they need to move towards to, because they're scared, and then they just believe that it's their intuition, right? But it's actually their wound or their trauma that's putting them in a box, and they just don't know the difference because they're not really doing the shadow work. So then they're like, no, it's my intuition, I know it, I feel it, when actually they're having a distorted perspective of reality. And maybe we do that sometimes on some level because it's a work in progress, so that's completely okay. But then I trusted that if you're here listening to this message, it's because you need to listen to it, that there's something maybe you're feeling you're needing to trust yourself a bit more. As a personal experience here, share from myself, what I recently been realizing, I mean, it's something I've been talking about for a while in my channel, that now more than ever, it's about trusting ourselves, like fully, but it requires radical honesty. It requires radical inquiry of ourselves to know our shit, to know our shadow, to know our stuff, so that then we can know, is it our intuition really, or is it our fear? Okay, or is it that, or is it this? So really it's a work in progress, and it's a journey, and it's a personal journey. At the end of the day, it's a personal experience. But for myself recently, I've been getting a lot of revelations happen, which is common. I'm speaking about this, that there's a lot of revelations happening right now, and I'm going to tag some videos if you want to watch those. But those revelations are specifically showing to me the things that I've always felt within myself. Like intuitively, I knew, it was a deep knowing, but I've held back from claiming them, owning them, sharing them, expressing them, believing them, living them, whatever you want to call it, out of the fact that they were not conventional or they were out of the norm. And I don't know if you resonate with this, let me know in the comments, but like everybody believes this. And I'm not talking, like within the 3D reality, it could be. But I'm talking even within the spiritual frame of operation, within the spiritual matrix, because this is where recently I realized that there's a very strong deception. And I spoke about this also in one video, where you come to a space where you have to decondition from spirituality also. So for me, any sort of, definitely there's work to be done from the things that we've received from the false grid, from the fallen reality, the fallen paradigm. And I understand that and we acknowledge it. But I realize that there's a lot that us on the path, it's more difficult to notice that we've taken on a programming from spirituality or a concept that is not applicable to our own system, to our own life. It's not integrated, it's not an embodied, it just doesn't work. Like, it's the best way I can say it. But it's difficult for us to capture it. So what I noticed for myself is that I'm getting those validations of like, oh my God, yes, that's like as if all the pieces of the puzzle of things that I have felt within myself, but that did not make sense. And why they did not make sense? Because I stopped myself from chasing or going down that experiment of like, oh, why did I see what I saw? Especially, seeing beyond the veil. Why is it that I saw those experiences? Or why is it that I experienced this in that way, that mystical experience? I had that experience. And I shut myself because it's not what is the most common thing. So what I noticed around me is that people are having such a different experience, so then that means mine is not valid. So that was such a subconscious pattern that I had within myself that I had to work through, is that to claim more that if something is different, it doesn't mean that it's not valid. And I think that's so important, because so many times I even find that in people that I work with, is because most people within the path, or again, I'm not going to keep saying within the path because that's what I'm talking about here. Let's say they say, oh my God, this place is magical. And then when you're going there, you're not experiencing that magical connection. Then you start doubting yourself, because that is supposed to be the norm. Then why are you not feeling like this? And maybe there's something wrong with you. And so I had a little bit of those things in my life where I had those unconventional experiences. Not necessarily I'm talking about magical place, just in general with different things that I don't necessarily want to go into. I am leaving this for another video where I want to share some things I have not shared on this channel here, which are some truth that I have revealed and experienced from those things that I've shared, that I did not go deeper into because I shut down. I was like, no, there must be something else. A big one, for example, is you have an experience and you're like, okay, but that's what I know it to be. And then someone tells you, no, but actually it's only your belief system. And I don't believe that. I don't agree with that. I know that through my experience that not everything is based on your belief system. There are so many things that come and shatter your belief system. Not everything is based on belief system. And the first one I'm going to say is when you have spiritual awakening. How did you know that? It wasn't your belief system. Your belief system is, let's say you were an atheist, you did not believe in God. And then something happens that defies your belief system. So not everything in life on a mechanical blueprint level, how this operates, like the law of this world, whatever you want to call it, I do not agree. It's all just based on your belief system. Belief systems have a big part, but it's not the totality of it. That's where there's room for you to experience and enter new territories that expand your mind, that allow you to take on new perspectives. You hear what I'm saying? But that is what's required to access a higher intelligence and not base yourself of this is the only way. Then that's limiting ourselves in that sense. And so I've seen enough to have this defiance of that everything is a belief system. But one of them was like me taking on that unconscious perspective of someone, or it's not like someone, but from out there where, like what I was experiencing, it's not valid. It's just my belief system. It's just my belief system. And so then I started shutting down my full experience of the different things that I had that only would have allowed me, if I went a bit deeper, to give me the big picture of why I experienced what I did. But instead I shut it down in the reality of like, it's just like, it's me telling myself this, so I have to change that belief system. So this is literally one example. But what I've been realizing is that is very present. And I personally have never been drawn to the guru archetype or going, this energy of like going to a shaman for healing or whatever. I was never drawn to this. I was always drawn to sharing experiences with leaders, what I call leaders, because this is the pioneer archetype, the way shower, and whatever they do, that sparks and ignites the other person's leadership or the other person's self-empowerment and light to come through. This is what I really always felt drawn to. And so I never had that, dynamic of putting anybody on a pedestal. But definitely there could be this unconscious process that we have, that if someone has more skill or experience in something, then we can take on everything they say as what they're saying is the truth. But what we say is that if what we could experience is a little bit different than what they're saying, then we can invalidate our experience. And I feel that's very important to highlight. And those little seeds can get planted, and then there can be some doubt in there. And one of them for me, I did do a video recently that I really recommend that you watch. is the different obstacles that could stop you from putting yourself out there and stepping into your light and sharing your gifts. Because for me, one of them was this, where I unconsciously let myself, through other people's perspectives or because they are knowledgeable in something, kind of stopped me from really owning my gift. Okay, and one of them is that I do is the quantum energy work that I do. And it's literally something that just from the moment that I entered and activated it, it's just been so natural to me. Anyway, it's like a natural technology, like it's a technology that just came to me. But even before that, there was just this natural thing in me to just do it. And I kept stopping myself because of so many different unconsciously, so many different opinions, of people, whether it was directed to me or indirectly, of, what is, what's the purpose? Why do I want to do it? Or you should not do it, or whatever it is. And then I completely shut that gift down. And so I think I just wanted to share a little bit of what's happening for me here, and that I realized that I am literally reclaiming those parts in me that I did not integrate. Because this is where integration comes, is when the pieces of the puzzle of your experience start making sense to you. It's like you've processed it, even things that are maybe years ago. You've processed them. Now you're able to bridge them because now you're open to trusting yourself. You're open to going down and as deep as you can into whatever the depth of this experience is, without judging yourself, without stopping yourself. Because you're like, you know what, like a scientist, you're going to keep going and going and going and experiencing and researching and doing until, it just landed. You got that formula that you've been looking for. So that's a little bit of what's happening here. And I just hope that this is of an inspiration to get you to really trust yourself and to put that maybe internal boundary of really noticing that when you feel someone else's thing just came through and literally put a barrier or a wall for you to move forward with your life, or to move forward with what you know deep down that is a truth for you and that is real. And I think that that's the thing that actually I want to speak about in my next video, is really how deep of a brainwash and of separation from ourselves we've been in on a collective, and just being born in the false grid, that it is difficult for us to know what is our internal intuitive compass. And even if we do know it, it's very difficult for us to trust it because we've been lied to with our own eyes. It's like telling you that what you see in front of you is not what you see. It's not real. And imagine, like, just the fact of that everything has been manipulated and everything has been distorted and taken out of its pure form, of its real form. You can imagine, you can literally seem like you're crazy. You're crazy. So I'm going to leave that for the next video. Thank you for watching. And if you like this message, please let me know in the comments below. But also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.